Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. Today we take our next step in the evolution away from the brown tool boys. And I think you're going to like this one, pretty interesting. So let's get today's project. We have this ugly wrench we were talking about for the past couple days. We're going to try some new stuff on this. I know that you've seen these done before, but I don't think like this. Remember, it's mashed up, the jaw's mashed up here. This is going to be the fastest restoration you ever saw. It's bent. It is bent. And we want to put a hanging hole on here. So let's get started and see what we can do with the transformation with this one. We are at our post-wire brush evaluation. Everything looks good. We straightened it out. It's straight as an arrow now. And also here, we straightened out the jaws, filed them down a little bit. We're going to take care of the top of this. But we got rid of the mushrooming. Everything looks good. The wheel looks good, the thumb wheel, and the pin looks good. So we are ready for sanding. Okay, we ran into a little problem here, and that's, here's the slide that goes up and down. We got the jaw coming pretty good, but you see this is an indentation here, and you can see it's indented, and that's going to be hard. It's going to show up no matter what, so we got to straighten that out. And it's on both sides, so they were banging it on both sides. The only way I could found, well, I found a couple ways, but this is the best way I found. Take a chisel like this, you place the chisel in here. Okay, then you take another chisel in here, and you place it on top of the other chisel, so it's wedged right underneath that bulge. And then using a little bit of force, a little bit of heat, we want to bulge that back out. And if it's a little bit too much, it's easy to bang it back down, but when it's below, you could see how much how below it is here. You could see how much we have to come up with that, you know. So let's get trying that. This is worth showing here. We have the chisel mounted in great grandpa's vise. Now we're going to take the piece here like this. You see now this is indented here. Now when you put the two chisels next to each other, when the two wide parts come, it's going to force it apart. So you're going to put this in here like this, put the chisel behind it, and work this up and down until you get just where it's going to expand, which is right about there. And then you could add a little heat, but you tap it down and it's going to force that out. Now you're going to have to bang it back and forth or bang this up to get that out of there. But once you do, you'll see you start to deform, and you can see we widened it a little, excuse me, a little bit at the bottom, but that's also going to widen the whole area. Then we just squeeze the top closed. Okay, believe it or not, we are about 4.5 hours into this wrench. That's how long it took me to get out all the dents and polish it up. Everything is just beautiful now, right? And look at remember this with the big dent in it? Took out the dent, got it down to a real mirror finish on both sides. But the problem with this kind of mirror finish is it shows fingerprints, you know, and that's the one, and any micro scratches you might have, it shows. That's why we're going to be doing the next step. So let's get to it. So what I have planned for this wrench is I wanted to do jewelling, and this is that little bit of jewelling. I want to do that on here. I think it'll look really sweet, won't it? And what I did was there's a item called Cratex, and what that is, it's a rubber impregnated with abrasive. And it comes in different lengths and square, round, things like that. And that's what a lot of people use. I don't have that right now. I did have it. I can't find it. But this is how we used to do the aluminum. So I'm going to try this. And what I did was you take a piece of this Scotch-Brite and punch out a couple circles. And you know, if you don't have a punch, you can just glue it on, then use a scissor and trim around it. But then I would glue those little circles with epoxy onto 1-inch pieces of dowel on each side. Then I mount that into the drill press, and then when this gets, after a while, it gets like this, it gets worn out, and then you flip it. So I'm thinking that 2 of these should be enough to do both sides, 1 on each side, because they do wear down after a while, and hopefully we'll get this finish on there. Let's try it out. Now you know my favorite part. Remember what this wrench looked like before we started. And we're calling this wrench done. Oh man, am I happy with this one. I guess you were expecting something a little different, like I said. And look at this. For the people out there that like blue and you think I'm just a red lover, not really. Look at that. It's a beautiful candy apple blue metallic. And we did everything's nice and shiny and polished. Remember what a mess this wrench was before. Now you're probably wondering why this wrench is called Double Take. Well, bam! Okay. Candy apple green in the back here. And yeah. And just look at that, huh? It's just an amazing, look at the tone of this and the metallic in there. Everything's nice and clean. Blue on the one side, green on the other, the jeweling on the top. Just a beautiful wrench, isn't it? This is what the next evolution in my restorations I want to make is that I'd like to customize some of these wrenches with, you know, engravings and different colors, and I really appreciate you being along there with me the whole time, and we'll go from here. One thing is, I was reviewing the tape, you know, and I was looking at it, and I was like, you know, the colors don't pick up right on the video. The blue, not so bad. I mean, it's a beautiful blue, but this blue here does, you know, it's not quite, but the green, the green in person is much darker, and for some reason the metallics are really picking up on the light, so it looks like a light green, but in person it's a beautiful dark Gumby green. Remember Gumby? Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed the restoration anyway, a Double Take, and we'll be doing some other custom wrenches. Thanks very much for tuning in, and take care. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.